Our next presentation is from Azincourt Energy. We have Alex Klenman, he's President and CEO, and Trevor Perkins, VPX. So gentlemen, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. Always a pleasure to be on a Red Cloud platform and also with some very distinguished colleagues here today. Azincourt, unlike Baseload, we're pre-discovery. So we're an pure exploration company. There's your disclaimer, which of course everybody's read. I'm going to blast through most of this. Management is essentially really myself and Trevor run the day-to-day. We have an active board. Ted O'Connor is well known in the basin. Ted was with Cameco for 20 years and was also the CEO of Plateau Energy Metals prior to being taken out by American Lithium. We have three project grounds, but two that we're working actively. Our East Preston project is a JV with Sky Harbor Resources. We own close to 80% now. It's a 25,000 hectare project in the southwestern side of the basin. It's next to Orano and Sky Harbor and the Preston project. We're the east side. We've spent a fair amount of money over the last few years delineating target zones or corridors, conductive corridors. We have about 30 kilometers of corridors that we're testing. We've really just begun to test. And we also have a project in the northeastern side of the basin on the Woolston trend there in Hatchet Lake. That's an earn-in with Valor that we're doing our first drill program this fall. We have a small package in Peru, but that's less priority these days, particularly with COVID and other issues. So we're really concentrating our efforts in the basin, or on the fringes of the basin proper. So everybody knows why we're in the basin. You get the world's highest grade deposits. It's a mining friendly jurisdiction, and we think there's a lot of discovery left to be made. Where we are with East Preston is a pretty high rent district in terms of who's around. Those are the market caps as of June 20th. Obviously they're off over the last 6 months, but we have a very small market cap compared to our peers, yet we have about 12 million in cash. So that in itself is a little crazy, but that's the market right now. East Preston, I'll just jump ahead. Trevor, you want to spend like a good 2 or 3 minutes here on how we delineated the targets at East Preston?
Sure, Alex. So to start out, we ran airborne surveys over the whole property looking for conductive corridors, which are highlighted in the bright pinks and yellows on this particular slide. Let's go to the next slide, Alex. So the conductive corridors, they're the main priority because it's been well understood so far that unconformity deposits within the basin and on the extremities of the basin seem to be associated with conductive packages within the basement rocks. So we want to identify where those are. Once they're identified, we go in on the ground with an EM and gravity survey to nail down exactly where the conductive package is within that corridor that's been identified with the airborne surveys. And that's what this particular slide shows. You can see the conductors are shown with squiggly lines through the various grids, and the colors are highlighting our gravity anomalies, which with the blues and greens being the lower density areas which are typically structures or good alteration. Next slide, Alex. So this slide just very quickly goes back, shows the whole property again, highlights where our main conductive corridor through the center of the property is, and the adjacent conductive corridor we're also exploring at this time, and shows all the other targets on the property that have yet to be followed up, yet to be nailed down exactly where we want to be in those. No shortage of targets. We can be here for a while. Next slide, Alex. So previous drill programs prior to this winter, we had drilled 24 holes on the property, showed us that we mainly wanted to focus on the A and A, B, and G zones to start. We have good structure, good lithologies or graphitic packages in the basin, and lots of indications that there may be cross-cutting structures with various bends, kinks, and breaks in the conductor running down through that area. Previous drilling also showed us that we had nice elevated pathfinder minerals, which are typically our base metals, nickel, cobalt, copper, zinc, and some arsenic. And we even had some indications that we had elevated rare earth elements. Gives us something else to keep our eyes open for while we're going through this. Next slide, Alex. So this last year, we ran a program on the A and B zones showed us again, as we moved south, things were getting stronger. We were starting to get elevated uranium 2 and 3 times background. So we decided to come back in 2022, follow this up some more. Next slide, Alex. So for 2022, we started on our G zone. We got drilling south on the G zone. We were seeing things were improving as we moved south. We hit some really good hydrothermal alterations, some hydrothermal hematite in the south end of the trend. We were seeing packages of hydrothermal alteration up to 100 meters thick with evidence of good cross-cutting structures across our main conductive trend, showing us good ground preparation, giving us an indication this is a good area to be. We also were drilling on our K zone. Now, on our K zone, every single hole intersected good hydrothermal alteration. Within the center of the trend, we actually started seeing elevated radioactivity in our scintillometers and downhole probing equipment. And we were seeing elevated radioactivity on the order of 10 times our normal background values, as well as starting to see some clay alteration coming in with our hematite as well, telling us that we should even be getting closer to the targets we're looking for. Good indications, still very coarse drilling, still a lot of work to be done in that area to nail down exactly what we're seeing and chase anything. We also drilled on the H zone. We got 3 holes done there, seeing good alteration there as well, good hydrothermal alteration in all the holes. Now, interestingly enough, these 2 trends may not be connected. We like to think they are. There's a bend in the conductors between them. Could be good ground to follow up. We're hoping that we get in the middle there too. We'll be seeing something good and have some more interesting structures to follow up. But needless to say, lots of work still to be done in this area. We're seeing everything right, pointing us in the direction we want to be.
Awesome. Thank you, Trevor. And real quick, Hatchet Lake, the Wolson corridor here, you can see all the production on the east side. We're about 14,000 hectares just located outside of that. It's once a Rio Tinto Hathor project. Has had very little work done on it since the 70s, despite the fact that there's radioactive boulders up to 2.5% on the property. So we're excited to get in there. We're going to be doing about 1 million or 1.5 million in drilling this fall, and before we follow up East Preston again with a similar program to what we just did. So that's a 3 to 4 million program, 5,000 meters or so. Again, we have a decent treasury. This is just a quick look. We'll blow through this. We're running out of time, Trevor. Let me get to capital structure. I'll zip down there. So we have 227 million shares out. We've been around since 2013, 2014. I came on board in 2017. Did a lot of financings in a bear market where you had to sell your children to fund the company. We had to do that. So we did a 2.5 to 1 in March because we were well capitalized. It was like hematite was what we wanted to see, so we figured now was the time to do it. And we did it prior to a financing, and none of the funds pulled out of the financing with that little 2.5 to 1 on the note. And we were able to raise $5 million ahead of any drill results. They seem to want to continue to fund us, which is really rare. And I think our colleagues on this call will say that to have institutional support. We have 28 different funds in the deal. And if you had told me that in 2019, I would have said you're hallucinating, because I couldn't get anybody to take a phone call in 2019. But here we are. And so we're happy. We're in a good position, well capitalized. Institutional holders have about 30%, insiders, close associates, another 10, family and friends, another 10. We're moving forward. We've got 2 really good targets to drill, and we'll be drilling them coming up here over the next 6 months. Okay, there you go. Thank you.